Thanks for staying with us. We're still reviewing the Punch in story, Mariam.
Yes, the authority of the heads of the Economic Community of West African States, that's ECOWAS, on Sunday they had a meeting and they have resolved to begin talks with Niger's National Council for the Safeguard of Homeland. It's also known as CNSP. So the meeting was really to talk about a short transition roadmap that will establish transition organs and to facilitate the setting up of a transition monitoring and evaluation mechanism. The committee would comprise of presidents of Togo, Sierra Leone, and Republic of Benin. So we have Torre, who's heading the committee, says that the bloc will either progressively ease the current sanctions on Niger Republic, that's if the junta cooperates with their efforts to maintain current, or they'll maintain current sanctions if, they are not complying with, the efforts of the committee, and they're also threatening to ask AU to also put harsher sanctions on Niger. So it's just really sitting down to give us a roadmap since the coup. And hopefully, there will be collaboration and cooperation so that the people of Niger Republic can have some semblance of peace.
Okay, so Julie Kozak, she's the director of IMF's communications department, and she said that Nigeria is not earning enough revenue to support its developmental needs and plans. The IMF also said that the country's 9% revenue to GDP ratio is very low and not enough to support the country's social safety nets, development spending, and protect its vulnerable households. She was responding to a question at the briefing. He said, as we mentioned in Article 5 consultation, which was held back in February, she specifically said that 9% of the GDP is very low compared to the GDP ratio, and that it's really not high enough to support Nigeria. So hopefully, the target is to increase the ratio of the GDP from less than 10% currently to about 18%. Within the current term of his administration. Efforts will, however, focus on improving tax administration and collection efficiency. So that's the target they're hoping that the presidency can ensure they achieve.
Yeah, so the major headline, on Friday, the management of Dangote Refinery confirmed the receipt of 1 million barrels of crude oil. And they said that this will lead to the production of refined products at the facility. Nigerians were excited about it. However, they are now saying that they will be producing automotive gas oil, also known as diesel, and Jet A1 or aviation fuel in January 2024, as against the PMS that everybody was expecting. And one of the reasons this is happening is because they got just 1 million barrel, which is not enough to produce even the PMS. They were expecting to have 6 million barrels supplied to them, barrels of crude oil supplied to them, so that they can kickstart the production of the petroleum, the AGO, PMS, Jet A1, and dual-purpose kerosene. That was what was expected. They cannot do less than 6 million barrels. But now that they just have 1 million and they're expecting others to come in installments, I don't know when those ones are going to come. They will only be supplying us the Jet A1 fuel for our airplanes and automotive gas oil. That's all they're going to give us. So we are gas diesel. So we are going to just expect that and hope that the crude will be supplied to them, like the 5 remaining barrels will be supplied to them, and also find a way to get those ones supplied regularly so that we don't have an excuse that they don't have crude to produce for Nigerians.
Moving on quickly now to Daily Sun. Catholic Bishops leader attacks Tinubu. Fuel subsidy removal, devaluation of Naira, cause of hardship in Nigeria, says CSOs. Best way to end coup in Africa, says Tinubu. NAF kills terrorist kingpin, others in Niger air strikes. Senators donate 109 million naira to victims of Kaduna drone misfire. 20 days to go, ex-NNPC ED expresses doubt over the Port Harcourt refinery takeoff date. And economy, Ohaneze to partner Southeast MAN. Okay, which story are we starting with?
We have the senator story. So the Senator Godswill Akpabio asked, he requested that all senators, all 109 of them, make a $1 million donation each, which total to 109 million for the victims of the inaccurate drone bombing that happened in Kaduna. And so he's a deputy Senate president, his chief whip, and Senator Ali Duma and the minority leader Abba Moro and other delegates visited the state, and the Barao Teaching Hospital in Kaduna to sympathize with victims and also visit the governor of Kaduna State where the donation was made. And, you know, they, of course, totally...
Was it made or pledged?
No, donated already. And they said from their December salary, 1 million naira each, and they donated the amount to the people.
That's good. Yes, so the Nigerian Air Force said their air component of Operation Wild Punch has eliminated a dreaded terrorist and kidnapped kingpin, Yellow Jambros, that's the name they know him as, and scores of other terrorists in airstrikes in Shiroro local government area of Niger State. You know, we had talked about the Nigerian Air Force. We need to, and their army in general, we need to hear what they do, and I believe that they want to start giving us information now on some of the airstrikes that they carry out. So the NAF Director, Public Relations and Information, Air Commodore Edward Gabwet, was the one who made this disclosure, and he said the terrorists made their Waterloo while they were attempting to cross the Jukudna River in Galadima, Kogo district, heading towards the Urukuvi axis of Chikun local government. And they had, come in 13 motorcycles, crossing over to meet other people. So in total, there were 18, and they entered this powerful boat. And they were going to meet other terrorists to carry out their attack. And they took an opportunity because as a result of that Kaduna bombing that happened, they felt the Nigerian Air Force may not be able to do anything in the airspace at the time. So they took an opportunity to go at that time. But unfortunately for them, they were, met seriously. And, they caught the Yellow Jambros guy of a person who also confessed, because there's been this guy they've been looking for since October 2020. So they found a kidnapped kingpin known as Mohammed Sani, who was arrested by the police in Zamfara for murdering over 50 of his victims due to their inability to pay ransom. So he had confessed that this Jambros guy was the one who was supplying all of the weapons. I'm glad now that they were able to, get him.
Okay, let me take the refinery, because we're monitoring the refinery, Port Harcourt refinery. So a former group executive director, Mr. Alex Ogidingbe, was saying at an interview on television that he noted that the refinery, from all indications, would not work this month. Remember, they told us that by the end of this month, Port Harcourt refinery would work. That's what government has told us. However, an ex-ED, giving his own opinion, say from what he's seen, he doesn't think that would work. And even if it eventually does, it will probably produce only about 25% of its capacity. He said, I recall that the Minister of State had mentioned it, saying that he said that he believed that the government should have actually built a whole new refinery than rehabilitating what we have, because this one was built in 1965 and it has old technology. So he doesn't know how they expect to make it function optimally with old technology. But hey, let us see. The government has said by end of this year, it will start working. Now, if they replace the technology, if they rehabilitated it enough for it to work at optimal capacity, we'll know by the end of this month. But we are holding government accountable that end of this year, Port Harcourt refinery must work.
He is watching. I'm sure he will tweet now.
Moving on quickly now to Vanguard. Let's find a story of not taking. Manufacturing sector bleeds as Forex losses rise to 400%. Clerk to Tinubu adopts doctrine of necessity to solve Ondo impasse. Controversy over Lagos ownership needless, says Olanrewaju and others. Maritime workers to FG solve Apapa Oshodi Reedlock nightmare. $792 million trapped funds. Foreign airlines at breaking point may exit Nigeria's airspaces IATA. Coup, Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso alliance won't weaken ECOWAS resolve for democracy, says Tinubu. And Kaduna era bombing, security agencies not on same page, says Governor Sali alleges. Okay.
Yeah, so they said that foreign airlines, strong indications that foreign airlines may be planning to exit Nigeria's airspace because of the worsening operating environment. They said other foreign businesses have already, planned to go this year. The latest one is Procter & Gamble of the United States. They had announced their decision to pull out last week. A few months later, there was another one, multinational corporation GlaxoSmithKline, also took a similar step. And now they're saying that the key challenge, according to the airline operators, is their inability to raise the foreign currency required for their operations. And over 792 million of their funds are trapped in Nigeria, which is a development that's threatening their operations globally. And they said, how the operations run. They collect naira from Nigerians and then have to exchange for foreign currency for their own operation. And they're not able to get that, and it's affecting their business. We said countries like UAE have decided not to even come back, even after the intervention of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And another thing is, they were now, so I've heard this story somehow, that when you're traveling to countries, European countries, American countries, outside Nigeria, it's usually cheaper. So you'll be paying like 400,000 naira tickets to go to maybe America from maybe Ghana or from Kenya and all of that. But in Nigeria, you're paying over 2-point-something million to get your ticket. And one of the reasons they mentioned is the fact that they're paying huge taxes here. They are, all the fees they're supposed to pay is so heavy. Their aviation fuel here is more expensive compared to other countries. Their running cost here is heavy. And so at the end of the day, they transfer it to the citizens. Because we were worried, why do I have to pay cheaper for other African countries? So they said in those other African countries, it's easier for them to do business there. Things are cheaper there, and so it affects ticket prices. But the government is trying to liaise with them to see how they can help them repatriate their funds. I also think they should also consider Nigerians that are paying so much to be able to travel, in how they make it easy for these people to run their businesses here.
Okay, that's all we can take on Front Page Review. We'll come back once our guest appearance. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.